Today's top stories. Provincial buses seek an increase in minimum fare while car makers report higher sales despite rising fuel prices. President Arroyo wants the ARMM elections reset to give priority to peace talks with the MILF. Critics of the Ombudsman scored the granting of incentives for grooming instead of achievement. And a documentary about the life of Britney Spears is due to air in the U.S. Provincial bus operators are also seeking a fare increase. They want the current minimum fare of 9 pesos raised to 12.50. Operators also want an additional 2.50 charge for every succeeding kilometer. They say increases in the price of diesel have significantly cut down their profits. The last time provincial bus operators implemented an increase was in 2005. In a related story, consumer advocate Raul Concepcion slammed President Arroyo for interfering in oil prices. He says such move will drive away foreign investors. Concepcion also fears that oil companies will be forced to cut back on their production once they are prevented from increasing their prices. Car sales seem to be bucking the trend. Sales are up this year, although manufacturers notice that people are shifting to smaller engines. Our economy correspondent Teresa Andrada with the story.
High oil prices have not discouraged Filipinos from buying cars. From January to June alone, car sales have increased by 13.6%. Car manufacturers admit they have not increased the prices of vehicles. Stable prices, coupled with a strong inflow of OFW remittances, have strengthened purchasing power.
Despite soaring fuel prices, car manufacturers remain optimistic car sales will remain high until the end of the year. In fact, Campi says they remain confident they will be able to meet their target of more than 125,000 cars sold by year-end.
But Campi was quick to point out that the industry is not immune to the global effects of the rise in fuel prices. It used to be big cars like AUVs and SUVs were all the rage. But now, car manufacturers have noticed a shift to vehicles with smaller engines.
They know how to stretch the budget and take a look at the types of vehicles that they would buy that would actually serve the purpose of, shelling out their hard-earned money.
Smaller engines consume less fuel. A 13-valve sedan, for example, runs for 25 kilometers per liter, whereas a 2.0 engine SUV consumes a little over 11 kilometers per liter. Campi says, though commercial vehicles comprise 65% of their sales, most of the vans and AUVs purchased are usually for businesses. Those who purchase vehicles for personal use have become more prudent in their driving habits.
For increases in oil prices, changing habits in how you drive your vehicles, being smarter in the types of vehicles that you buy. Buyers are a lot smarter as well, getting more return on the investment in terms of, let's say if you purchase a vehicle, you would purchase it for both your personal use and also for business.
In spite of the increase in car sales, industry players are also complaining of low fuel sales. From January to April alone, gasoline consumption decreased by 10 to 15% or 50 million liters.
Marami ng mga napaka-dissenting sumasakay sa MRT.
Teresa Andrada, ABC News.
The Ombudsman is under fire. Aside from a low conviction rate, the country's graft buster is also being scored for a series of new programs, including bonuses not for performance, but for impressive costumes. Royce's Nagit Sibal has that story.
The Office of the Ombudsman is probably the only agency in the country where employees are given incentives not for doing their job, but for getting to work in costume. Every Monday, Ombudsman personnel are encouraged to dress according to their cultural roots, and the best dress gets 1,500 pesos outright bonus.
Bakit hindi natin isama na rin ang paggalang sa ating kultura? So yung mga gusto na ipakita ang kanilang mga tribal dresses, cultural dresses.
The country's graft buster traditionally gives incentives to outstanding personnel based on their performance. But Gutierrez suspended the program because it allegedly caused jealousy and rivalry among employees.
Itutuloy pa rin yon, but with new and better guidelines na maiiwasan na natin ang mga bickerings na nakakasira sa moral ng mga tao.
Apart from wearing costumes, employees are also encouraged to plant vegetables in the office garden.
Anong gagawin namin sa lote? Wala pa naman kaming pera para magpagawa ng another building or another structure. So tinamnan namin ng mga gulay, pechay, repolyo.
Gutierrez may have won the hearts of some through her unique policies, but she's still not spared from controversies for her alleged poor performance as Tanod Bayan. Gutierrez is being accused of clipping the powers of her subordinates, centralizing decision-making, and filing of weak cases that resulted in a poor conviction rating from 65% last year to just 15% so far this year. The ombudsman is also being accused of leading a demolition job against Special Prosecutor Dennis Villa Ignacio. But all these were denied by ombudsman officials who even called for a press conference to defend Gutierrez.
I support her 110%. This controversy has affected somehow our office, but it is not to the extent of demoralizing our people.
Wala naman kaming alam na demolition job sa kahit sino sa aming mga opisyal.
What more could I do? No? It's very apparent, it's very clear na meron ng a foul scheme is being poised against me. What will follow after this? Suspension?
Deputy Special Prosecutor Robert Callius says it's too early to say that their conviction rate is poor since they still have 5 more months to do better. Besides, prosecutors insist they are not the ones deciding on cases. Royces Nagit-Sibal, ABC News.
Next on Sentro, President Arroyo pushes for the postponement of the ARMM polls and the never-ending saga of the NAIA Terminal 3.